Hi, it's Barbara from Red Hill Cemetery Yard Haunt. This is the second part of my tutorial for my beloved tombstone. In the first part, I made the monument itself, and then I made the lady who was going to be draped over the monument. So once I got the lady secured up there really well so that she wouldn't slide down, I spent a little bit of time futzing with the dress. I had gotten this dress for $3 at the Goodwill, and it really wasn't the right style or the right size for what I needed. But that's okay because there's a lot of alterations that I did with Gorilla Glue, duct tape, and spray adhesive to get it to size and to get it to the style that I wanted. So for example, I wanted a high neck dress and this was a princess neckline, so I simply put a piece of lace around her neck to kind of fake a high neck collar. I also wanted long sleeves, and this was a short sleeve dress, and so when I made her arm, I just built it with a built-in sleeve around it. Additionally, I did not like those puffy sleeves. I thought they kind of overwhelmed her, and so I took a razor knife and I cut into the sleeve and I pulled out all the puff, all the netting, and then I used spray adhesive to get that sleeve under control and kind of mold it down to her shoulder. Additionally, I wanted to make sure that the bodice was nice and snug, and this dress was a little bit too big for my body form, and so I just took a razor knife wherever the dress was too big, and I used spray adhesive to kind of stretch and pull and get a nice snug fit, and in that way I got a really nice tight fit on that bodice. So once I was done going all Vera Wang on that wedding dress, then I brushed Monster Mud onto all parts of the lady except for the skirt. The skirt I couldn't use a brush. I actually had to dip my gloved hands into the big bucket of Monster Mud, and starting at her waist and working down to the hem of the skirt, I just slowly, applied Monster Mud until that was soaking wet. And once I had Monster Mud on the skirt, then I kind of fluffed it out and made sure that it was draped how I want it to be draped, and that it was, nice and even around there. I also learned that you don't have to, if you miss a little spot of Monster Mud on the skirt, it's okay, because the next day when it dries, you can always go touch up. So, and there's actually a longer open period with this stuff than I realized. Of course, you don't want to go off to lunch or anything, and you need to put all the Monster Mud on the skirt in one setting. But there was plenty of time to take my time, get that skirt drenched in Monster Mud, and then to kind of like fluff it out so it looks nice. For her hair, I ordered 2 of these wigs from Amazon. One of the wigs I glued to her head with Gorilla Glue, and the other wig I cut into pieces. And then I dipped my hand into the Monster Mud and I made a whole bunch of these long rope type snaky looking things with the individual tendrils. I suppose I had combined maybe 30 of those, and I kind of arranged those down her back and on her bangs. And with the extra ones from the extra wigs, I filled in wherever I felt like she needed more fullness in her hair. It's her wedding day after all, and I wanted to make sure that she had nice hair. And then to make sure that her hair looked more like a cement sculpture and not, just a wig dipped in Monster Mud. And also to fill in any little holes and gaps where rainwater might accumulate, I cut up a couple shop towels into really small pieces. I dipped those in Monster Mud, and I kind of plugged any little holes and gaps that were left in her hair. And then I did kind of the same thing with her bouquet of flowers. There's just too much detail in that bouquet of flowers right now to be convincing as a cement sculpture, so I kind of beefed it up with more Monster Mud and some great stuff. Then it was time for 2 coats of dry lock, And on my sculptures, on my second coat of dry lock, I always add a little paint to the dry lock just so that visually I can tell where I've been to make sure that I don't miss any spots on my second coat. Okay, next was a solid coat of black paint over the entire thing. And I splurged and got this spray gun for $12.99 from Harbor Freight, and it did a really great job of getting into all those little nooks and crannies that would have been very difficult to reach even with a tiny brush. And then the last painting steps are just the usual tombstone painting. I sponged on some gray paint, and then I also used a little brown and green for accent and depth, and then I used some black for drips, and then I also used a little black to touch up some of the letters. And she is finally done.